You're listening to a 10 Minutes on Tuesday podcast for Propel. I'm your host, James Hacon from Elliotts. Thank you for downloading and enjoy. So we're here at Sticks and Sushi in Covent Garden, and I'm with Andreas, who's the UK MD. Hi, Andreas.
Good morning.
And do you maybe want to start off, just to, I suppose, for those people that may not have heard of Sticks and Sushi, or well, there's not many of them now, but for those people that may not be aware of the brand, do you want to talk a little bit about what Sticks and Sushi is, the history, concept, and I suppose the overarching piece there?
Yeah, sure. Well, Sticks and Sushi is a Japanese restaurant. It's not chopsticks and sushi, it's actually yakitori and sushi, so it's a combination of the two Japanese kitchens. And ultimately started in Copenhagen in 1994 by two brothers and a brother-in-law, so it's a true family business. One of the brothers had been to Japan for 8 years as a yakitori chef, and he came home and convinced his brother and brother-in-law to join him to open up the first restaurant. The name Sticks and Sushi came out of an accident when they were thinking about what are we going to call the restaurant. And they said, let's call it Sticks and Sushi because stick in Danish is skewer, so that represents the yakitori sticks. So let's call it Sticks and Sushi. We can always change it later. And 21 years later, it's still called Sticks and Sushi, and there is no further considerations about changing that. They successfully opened in '94, grow the business steady, made some money, invested some money, and they grown the Danish business up to around 2012 by 9 units, and at a very early stage the founders had a vision about taking the concept out of Denmark and out of Copenhagen, and London had always been one of the aims and the place where they wanted to be. So it was an early dream that started in the late 90s, and it took them a good 12-15 years before they managed to open up the first restaurant in London. So that is really the background of where it all started. In 2012 they succeeded with opening up the first restaurant in Wimbledon.
Do you maybe want to talk a little bit about how you transitioned the concept into the UK and the kind of thought process in terms of taking something that worked somewhere else internationally here, and what you had to do in terms of your UK experience, but also experience of working in Denmark in those restaurants?
The good thing before I joined the business was that Kim, our CEO and co-founder, had already started the process about aligning the organization in Denmark. So at an early stage he kind of converted the common language at meetings and accounts and various other things into English. So he kind of furnished the organization well and made everybody understand that we have the desire and the passion to take Sticks and Sushi abroad. And by doing that, then when you then start the real process, the organization is aligned, and whatever little you contribute to that, you have contributed to the growth internationally. So that was really a great move, or it's the fundamentals of the business by doing just that. And that helped us a great deal. Then being Danish and the Danish sense of humor that they use in the communication, the big question was, were we going to tell the English market that we are Danes and we are going to open up a Japanese restaurant? And what is this kind of schizophrenic approach to penetrating a market, and how would the Brits take it? And we said to ourselves that, you know what, we are Danish and we are proud of it, but we are serving Japanese food, and we have the heritage with the two brothers are half Japanese. So the mother is from Tokyo and the father is from the west coast of Denmark. So a fisherman and a Japanese wife, perfect combination. They know fish, so a Japanese restaurant is what we're going to do.
I suppose if we can move on to, I suppose, your background and how you came to be doing what you're doing. I mean, I know you obviously spent some time with Wagamama, and in your career, what have been some of the highlights?
Well, the highlights was to jump on a plane in 1994 with a rucksack, planning to stay in London for 3 months and then go back to Stockholm. But that plan kind of ended rather quick, and I'm still here in the UK after 21 years. Standing in the queue at Wagamama in 1994 in Stratton Street, thinking this is a pretty cool place. I could see myself working here because back then non-smoking restaurants were not existing. A long queue outside a restaurant didn't exist in that degree. So I thought a busy place like this with no smoking must be a good place to work. And I was lucky enough to land myself a job before Wagamama opened a second restaurant in Soho, in Lexington Street. And my journey with Wagamama in the early years with the founder, Alan, and later on with Ian Neal at the helm, was one of the best journeys you ever can have. They really truly believed in investing in people with the right attitude who wanted to work hard and do the best. And I'm one of the examples of someone who went on a fantastic journey with them, working with the early franchisees that we took on and were involved with the openings there. Then later on moving into working solely with international expansion. And that point of time, it was very entrepreneurial. It was very much the connection with the potential partner that was with kind of the tipping point to business with them. And opening restaurants from Auckland to Copenhagen, it's many highlights. But I had my fantastic years there, absolutely phenomenal. So highly appreciate the chance I had with them, and helped me a lot now with what I do now. So good journey.
That's great. And in that whole time, what do you think you've learned around what makes a restaurant successful?
Well, daily execution. If your operation, whatever you do, is not of high quality every single day of the week, every week of the year, and to make money in this business, you need to do it year in, year out because of the substantial investment you're making when you open a restaurant. That really comes down to if you're going to be successful or not. You cannot just fill your restaurant for a week or two when you open. You think you made it. No. That's not what it's about. It's about absolute daily execution at the highest level, and that goes for anyone who is providing a hospitality service of whatever kind. So I guess that's my simple recipe to success.
So obviously the sector's in a real buoyant place at the moment, and we're hearing a lot about the success and growth, but there's clearly challenges as well. One of the challenges that I think I hear quite a bit is around the employment and finding really talented people. How are you finding that scenario, and what other challenges are you facing?
Yeah, it's spot on. You know, if you don't have the people to execute every day well, you won't have a business. For us in the beginning, then we were totally unknown. We managed to attract some really good people to join our business, and as you go through the first tough year or years, you will build your ambassador base within your restaurant, and if you are working well with your teams, they will help you a great deal to introduce more good people to your business. And we have a saying that, you know, attitude trumps talent. So if you get the staff to join you with the right attitude, then you're halfway there. And then it's about working well with them and you know, ensuring that you scratch your staff's back and ultimately they will scratch your back. So it's a good working environment you're creating for them, and they will go the extra mile for you, and if you go the extra mile for your staff. So it is challenging, but you know, it's one of those things, we're all in it, so we just need to be good at it.
I think we've obviously discussed this before, but in my experience of your venues in Copenhagen and here in London, I think you have really excelled at that piece. And we talked about the idea that for you it's about really being accessible in your position, and that's it's relatively easy still at 4 or 5 sites, but as you grow, that becomes less easy. I mean, this morning I've seen you shake lots of your staff's hand when they walked in. That wasn't a prompt, that was just something that they did. How do you think you're going to be able to keep that culture moving forward?
As long as I don't spend too much time in my little back office, then I hope I can hold on to that. But I guess it's the behavior from me that then will spread down to anyone else who works supporting the restaurant, that they are very much out there, because you've got to clone yourself to a certain degree, and this penetrates through the whole business, both in Copenhagen and here, that we always greet each other, we always say goodbye to each other when we leave the office or we leave the restaurant, and when that behavior is there from the beginning, that will hopefully help us maintaining what we call the good family values running a restaurant business. My colleagues here, they do the same. So it's not only me who's doing it, and hopefully that will help us continue being successful.
Great. I think to finish off, it would be great to think outside of your own world into the competitive landscape. I suppose one thing that we hear over and over is that London's ruling the roost, and there's lots happening in London constantly. On that basis, who do you look to for inspiration, and who do you think is doing something really great?
I like where you get the feeling that it's genuine, in terms of that the team who is working in a place truly enjoy being there, and a place where I haven't been disappointed in at all at any time is the Hacon. I feel that they do a great job. I think the staff's attitude is fantastic. It's genuine. The place where the way they build the restaurant, the ambience they create, is exceptional. I truly like and respect what the Hacon is doing. Then it's always harder as you grow. But I can see if they maintain that, they can go very far with what they do, both in London and beyond internationally. I truly respect what they are doing. That's one of my kind of top of my head answers to that question. I like simple places where it's this is what we do. Flatiron is a good example of a place where we do this and we do it really well. And again, never been disappointed in the engagement of the team when you visit them. Phenomenal.
That's great. I think that's probably all we've got time for. But thank you so much for your time. It's been really good to talk.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.